Hi guys, this is Yuri at buildhello.ca, and in this video I want to talk a little bit about the Open Graph protocol. So you can see on the right side of the screen there is a buffer. In that buffer, this over here, I'm just about to jump over there with the mouse, you can see in this buffer. This is for people that follow any Emacs code. So if you want to know what I'm doing with the text editor, you can have a look at that. But this video is actually marketed towards small business owners and anybody who is looking at their website and they want to start a social media campaign. So they want to have an Instagram campaign or Facebook campaign or a Twitter campaign, for example, and maybe you have a marketing manager who is currently, running your social media campaign. So making some blog posts, making some social media posts, and really just ensuring that your business has a presence on one of the Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook social media platforms. And if you have a small business, a lot of small businesses, they're sort of wondering, why should I even have a social media campaign? And there actually are reasons that people have social media campaigns, and typically it starts with their website for their business, and it starts with the idea that somebody might be searching on Google and they might search for something, and if your website has 3 pages, they have a less probable chance of finding your website or your code than if your website has 30 pages or 45 pages, especially if those pages cover different aspects that might be related, perpendicularly and tangentially to your core business idea. So let's say you have a business that is a pet food that is for health food for pets, and you might have a blog post, and of course if you are an entrepreneur or a small business person, you are likely all over this, but you would have a blog post that talks about different ailments that pets might have, and ultimately if somebody is Googling some health challenges for their pet, they might end up finding your blog, and that's just some extra marketing that you can get. And so if you do have a blog, then you will likely want to get that blog over to social media. And when you get that blog over to social media, something happens under the hood with your content management system, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So today we're going to talk about the Open Graph protocol at Facebook, and let's just have a look at the Facebook Open Graph protocol website. So this is Facebook's program that Instagram uses and Twitter uses, and likely some other social media platforms also use the Open Graph data. You can just have a look at the basic metadata. So what is this metadata? Well, this is essentially HTML key value pairs that are, when you post your blog post to Facebook, Facebook extracts the key value pairs and turns them into objects. So they go from primitive data types essentially into objects, and as an object, Facebook is then going to work with it. And when you post your blog post to Facebook, it's going to be presented in a way that you determine according to Facebook's own styling when you enter the data into your content management system. So that your content management system determines the width of the image and, for example, the title that will be on the post and the type of post as well. So here on this page, you can learn a little bit about the Open Graph protocol, and it gives you an idea of some of the data that you can enter into your content management system. Now, of course, you don't really need to read this page as a business owner. This is why you have a developer. Developer should be able to read this page, but if you don't have a developer, this is something that we do at buildhello.ca, where we build websites, we design websites, and we fix websites, and you can contact us and we will let you know what we can do for you in terms of ensuring that your social media campaign is working at the intersection of your marketing manager or your marketing, the person that's doing your social media marketing, and the actual code in your content management system. If it's Shopify, WordPress, Wix, Squarespace, or any of the other content management systems, they are each going to have a different way of achieving the same objective. So let's just have a look at what that objective is. in your social media post. So what we'll do here is we will have a look at a social media post. So this is some image software, and this is an image of Reading World Magazine's social media post. This is Facebook. That's me. I'm the admin, and this is the post. So on November 7th, I posted to Reading World Magazine, and you can see that the post has hashtags here, which are a good idea. You also would ideally want to have some text in here, even though this data that's here is for people that use the Facebook search, and not a lot of people use the Facebook search. Most people use Google, so you don't really need to worry about this, but it's just a good healthy practice to have that in there. Now you can see here you have this line of text, this line of text, and this line of text, and you have this image. So this is what we're talking about, that you see when we're talking about your Open Graph protocol and Open Graph data that's entered into your content management system. Now, of course, the social media campaign itself, you have 4,000 views for $35. This could be a good deal. It could be a not so good deal. We don't have a program with Facebook, but if you do have a program with Facebook, you can likely get this price lower. I'm sure that they have some deals, and there is a lot more on the Facebook side as well. And if you're interested, we can send you some information about how you can maximize your views for your dollars on Facebook and Instagram. Now let's look at the data side and have a look at that. Of course, this is the title, and you can see here we have the content. The etymological root of November is 9. So if you look at this post here, you can see that's where the title shows up. This is where the URL shows up, and this is where the description shows up. Now, this data doesn't have to be on your blog post at all. When the viewer clicks on this link and they go to your website, your blog post doesn't need to have this image or any of this here. What this is data that you've specified in your content management system. Also specify, for example, the size of this image and how this image is processed. And that's what we're going to talk about right now. So let's just jump to that. Here we're talking about the actual code. Okay, so this is the meta tag. So your plugin, your WordPress plugin, or your Shopify code is going to have an interface where you enter your data. And in this case, this interface is the Open Graph title. And this is some code which happens to be for the Hugo content management system, but essentially the code for any system is going to do something similar. And what this code does is it grabs that title, a title that you specify, and it does some, here it's extracting any sort of year from it and replacing that with the current year. And you can do some you could make it lowercase, you can make some changes to it, but what you can't do is you can't change how the styling will appear, because that is up to Facebook. So what we are doing is we're just doing some textual changing to the content of the actual text, and we're also providing a fallback. So we have a fallback title, which defaults to the title for the fallback that we enter into. So we have some Open Graph processing for images, the type of the post, if it's a blog post, article, the published date, the last date modified, the description, the site name, URL, audio. The locale is a really important one if you are a small business that has an Instagram campaign. This locale is pretty important for Instagram. It's how you can get a lot of people on Instagram are presented posts that are near to them. So that's something that's very helpful to ensure that you have in your Open Graph data on your content management system, the Open Graph code. So what you have here is what I call a Open Graph image stack. And the Open Graph image stack has some code that does some processing of the images. So you can also have an image, enter an image from an URL or a CDN. So this image may be extracted from a CDN, or this image could have come from Wikipedia. It could have come from any source that you choose to have on your social media campaign. It doesn't have to be from your WordPress site at all. And so you can specify that in the code if you have some code that specifies that. You can also have the image to be processed. You can have your logo overlaid on this. You could have some text overlaid on this. You can have this color changed. You could change the dimensions of this post, and that lines up with the dimensions for your Facebook campaign. Your social media manager should know something about that, and if they don't, or if you don't have a social media manager, we can help you with that at buildhello.ca. And then, of course, you could have this, for example, presented here, and you could have this content on the side here. And that is something that can be achieved just within the actual processing, the code that processes your image. So you would specify the image size. You can also have what's called an image stack. And what the image stack does is it takes all of the images in your blog post and it arranges them all as meta tags. So the object in Facebook gets all of that data and it presents the data in the way that you decide. So you can select, you can choose which posts, which images you want to have on your social media post. So if you have several images on your blog post, you can select which ones you want. And that really comes down to not it's part Facebook, but it's part the code that how you have it specified in your content management system. So that's a little bit about your Open Graph, the Open Graph protocol, where you can have a look at the Open Graph protocol. And just to let you know that there are plugins for how you manage your Open Graph protocol, and sometimes it's helpful to have those plugins changed slightly, have the code changed, or have the code specified based on your content management system. That is something that we can help you with at buildhello.ca. My name is Yuri. You can send us an email, you can fill out our form, or you can give us a call at the number on the website at buildhello.ca, and we will get back to you and sign you up for a free consultation. We'll let you know a little bit more about what we can do for you. Thanks so much for watching, and looking forward to seeing you next time.